Now on to Photoshop and built-in actions. I'm going to open up this fly image, and I'll double-click to collapse Mini Bridge and hit Command-0 or Control-0 to fit in Window. If you go to your Window menu and choose Actions, there's a folder of built-in default actions, and one of my favorites is that sepia toning, that old-timey looking photo that brings up the feel of the late 1800s or early 1900s. So if I click on it once and hit play, there we have a hue and saturation layer added, and even a layer to desaturate or make this image grayscale. But hue and saturation even pops up some more contrast or details in there. To experiment with actions, I often do File, Revert to go back to the last saved version. And you can see there's Molten Lead, Save as PDF, Vignette or Blend a selection. But I'm going to roll these up, and I'll actually rip the Actions panel off so you could see more of them. And I'll click once, and there's entire groups of actions, like frames. If I choose frames, one of my favorites is Photo Corners. If I click on Photo Corners and hit play, I get those old corners that they used to use to fix images to old photo albums. But they were black. So I'm going to choose File, Revert. To make this look more realistic to me, I will expand Photo Corners to see how they've done this. And if you look for the second fill, there it is, there's one here and one here. I can tell it to stop so that I can choose the color to use for the photo corners. If I play it again, after it's made its selection, when it's ready to do the fill, I'll just use black and click OK. Great for uploading to social media, but still give that feeling of the 1950s when we used to have albums with those corners. And finally, to finish this off, I'm going to show a special effect. I'll revert back to last saved version, and I do recommend you check out the lab black and white technique, because if you play the photo toner, it gives you a really detailed high contrast black and white. So I'll just load it and collapse it. I'm not going to run it yet. But I want to try image effects. And in image effects, they have all kinds of neat ones, like make your photo look aged, or do neon lights, or oil pastel. But I'm going to select fluorescent chalk and make it look as if I hand drew this image in fluorescent chalk. So I will hit play. And it's telling me I haven't made a selection, so you can't do hide. That's okay, it will still work. I'll hit continue. Outstanding. This is as if it was white paper, and everything has texture and color and that brightness that you would get with fluorescent chalk. I expanded fluorescent chalk, and now I'll scroll down, and if you're curious how they got there, there's quite a few steps in this. So when I meet people who use a lot of filters or who do painting from scratch in Photoshop, really turning it into an artwork creation application or extending the tools they would use traditionally like paint, easels, brushes, pens, charcoal, I try to write down their steps so that I can recreate what they've done, or even use some of their techniques to go a different direction and create artwork of my own that was born from a photograph that I loved. So I hope you've enjoyed this tour of built-in actions. I will finish off by saying you could choose File, Automate, and even take any one of these actions that are in the Actions panel, or even actions you build yourself, and create a droplet. A droplet will let you drag and drop an image onto it on your desktop and have it run that action. So without even launching Photoshop, opening the photo, and playing, you simply drag your photo to that droplet. So this has been your tour of actions, and I highly recommend you explore all of the action sets that are built in.